If you grew up gaming in the Philippines during the early 2000s, there's a good chance that one game consumed your afternoons, weekends, and perhaps even your allowance money. Before Mobile Legends, before Valorant, before Genshin Impact, there was MU Online, a game where seeing someone with glowing wings instantly earned your respect. A game where every upgrade attempt could either make your day or completely ruin it. And a game that made countless Filipino players dream of unlocking one of the most powerful classes ever created, the Dark Lord. Today, we're taking a nostalgic trip back to MU Online's golden age in the Philippines. Its impact on gaming culture, the legendary challenge of unlocking the Dark Lord, and how the franchise continues to survive through newer versions and modern adaptations. Released by Webzan in 2001, MU Online quickly became one of the most recognizable MMORPGs in Asia. Inspired heavily by dark fantasy games such as Diablo, MU Online offered something that felt massive for its time. Players could explore a persistent online world filled with monsters, dungeons, castles, and other adventurers. When MU arrived in the Philippines, internet cafes were booming. Computer shops became gathering places for students after school. It wasn't uncommon to walk into a cafe and see entire rows of computers displaying the same location: Lorencia, Devias, Dungeon. The soundtrack, the clicking sounds of attacks, and the sight of players standing around showing off their equipment became part of everyday gaming life. Unlike many RPGs at the time, MU Online was relatively easy to understand. You picked a class, you fought monsters, you leveled up, you hunted for loot. Simple. But beneath that simplicity was an endless grind that kept players hooked for years. Most players started with the classic classes. The Dark Knight was the melee powerhouse. The Dark Wizard specialized in devastating magic attacks. The Elf could support allies and attack from range. Later updates introduced classes like the Magic Gladiator and Dark Lord, giving players even more goals to pursue. Each class had its own identity. Dark Knights became spinning machines of destruction. Dark Wizards dominated hunting grounds with powerful spells. Elves became invaluable during party leveling sessions. But there was one class everyone admired, one class that represented status: the Dark Lord. Unlike most classes in modern MMORPGs, the Dark Lord wasn't available from the start. You couldn't simply create one on your first day, you had to earn it. And that requirement instantly made the Dark Lord feel special. Depending on the version and server, players needed to reach a significant level milestone before the class became available. For many Filipino gamers, playing official servers and local releases, reaching the required level felt almost impossible. Leveling in MU was notoriously slow. Every level demanded hours of grinding. You would spend entire afternoons farming monsters just to gain a few levels. And after all that work, you still weren't finished. Yet players continued because the reward was worth it. The Dark Lord was powerful. The class wielded a scepter instead of traditional weapons. It could summon a Dark Horse and Dark Raven. It possessed unique leadership abilities. And perhaps most importantly, it looked incredibly cool. Seeing a Dark Lord riding a Dark Horse immediately told everyone around you that this player had invested serious time into the game. In many internet cafes, Dark Lord players became local celebrities. People would gather around their screens just to watch them hunt. For younger players, unlocking the Dark Lord became the ultimate MMO achievement. Modern gamers often complain about grinding, but MU players experienced grinding on an entirely different level. There were no convenient quest markers, no generous experience boosts, no fast-track progression system. Players spent countless hours fighting the same monsters repeatedly: Budge Dragons, Liches, Death Knights, Hydras, Tantalos, and countless others. Finding the perfect hunting spot was a science. Players memorized monster spawn locations. Guildmates shared leveling strategies. Entire friendships were built around helping one another reach the next level. And then there was the hunt for equipment. The joy of seeing an excellent item drop was unmatched. Even better was finding an item with useful options. But getting the item was only half the battle. Every veteran MU player remembers the anxiety of using a Jewel of Bless, Jewel of Soul, or Chaos combination. The process was simple: place your item, use the jewel, pray. Sometimes your item upgraded successfully, sometimes it didn't, and sometimes your dreams disappeared in seconds. The risk created unforgettable moments. Every successful upgrade felt like winning the lottery. Every failure became a story you told your friends for years. The high-risk progression system made equipment feel invaluable. When someone walked around with highly equipped and upgraded gear, everyone knew how much effort and luck it took to obtain it. MU Online wasn't just about leveling, it was also about community. Guilds became second families. Players spent hours chatting while hunting. Friendships crossed schools, cities, and provinces. Then there was Castle Siege, one of MU's most iconic features. Guilds battled for control of a massive castle. Winning brought prestige and rewards. The event transformed ordinary players into military commanders, coordinating attacks and defenses. For many Filipino gamers, Castle Siege was their first experience with large-scale online PvP. It felt epic, it felt important, and it created countless unforgettable rivalries. While MU's mainstream popularity eventually declined as newer MMORPGs entered the market, the franchise never truly disappeared. Webzen continued developing the game through numerous seasons and expansions. New classes arrived, new maps were introduced, visual upgrades improved the experience. Features that once required months of grinding became more accessible. Today, MU Online is vastly different from the versions many Filipinos remember from internet cafes. The game now contains years of accumulated knowledge. Classes like Rage Fighter, Grow Lancer, Rune Wizard, Slayer, Gun Crusher, and several others have expanded the roster far beyond the original lineup. Progression systems have become more complex. Events occur regularly, and quality of life improvements make the game easier to approach than ever before. Beyond the original PC game, MU expanded into new forms. Mobile titles such as MU Origin and MU Archangel introduced the franchise to a new generation. These games attempted to capture the feeling of classic MU while adapting to modern gaming habits. Auto battle systems, daily activities, faster progression, and mobile accessibility. While veteran players often prefer the original PC experience, these newer titles help keep the MU brand alive in an era dominated by smartphones. Meanwhile, private servers continue to thrive throughout the Philippines. Many players return specifically to relive the nostalgia of classic MU. Some servers recreate older seasons. Others introduce completely new content. This enduring popularity proves just how influential the game remains. MU Online wasn't simply another MMORPG. It was a cultural phenomenon for Filipino gamers. It taught us patience. It taught us persistence, and it taught us that sometimes the best rewards came after weeks or even months of effort. Whether you spent your days hunting in dungeon, trading items in Lorencia, participating in Castle Siege, or dreaming of unlocking the Dark Lord, MU created memories that still resonate decades later. And even today, when a veteran gamer hears the words Lorencia, Devias, or Dark Lord, there's a good chance they'll smile and remember a simpler time. A time when all we needed was a few hours in an internet cafe, enough zen for repairs, and the hope that our next upgrade wouldn't fail. Because for an entire generation of Filipino gamers, MU Online wasn't just a game, it was an era. For more content like this and other updates down the line, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.